Hi everyone, I'm Diana, and this is a quick introduction into my Oscar framework, the framework that helps you identify your best online business. This is part of my online course Smart Track program. If you want to know more, you can go on my website, marketable.com, and then let me just, and then you click here. You will find all the details about my program that helps you create and launch your online course business. Okay, so why the Oscar framework? If you've been following me for a while, you probably know by now that about 60% of the 80% of entrepreneurs who fail don't make it past 5 years, or simply don't make enough money with their businesses and they end up abandoning them. 60% out of these people choose the wrong business idea, industry, even niche, or target audience, and do not know how to differentiate themselves. So your first step as an entrepreneur is so crucial. It sets the tone for your entire entrepreneurial journey. I bought programs from famous coaches as well as some that are not very well known. And I noticed that so many of them don't go to this first step thoroughly enough. And somehow, because I was exposed to many businesses through my first business, I've been an entrepreneur for 20 plus years. And my first business, the one that helped me reach almost 7 figures, was about helping companies, multinationals, small local companies solve their marketing and sales challenges. Because of this agency, I was exposed to very different industries and business models. I could notice the pros and cons in so many companies. And I created myself 5 different businesses in very different industries also. The TV production one, the marketing one, as I was saying. I created a platform as a service. I'll explain what it means if you don't know. I had a Shopify store. I had several things going on in the past 5 years. Looking back at my successes and failures and studying, analyzing the businesses of so many people, I realized that there were 2 categories of businesses. One that we can call growth business, the kind of business that takes over your life, okay? The kind of business that if you want to make it work, you will have to dedicate everything you have to it. All the other things will fall into secondary place. And the second category, the lifestyle-oriented business, I call it a lifestyle-oriented business because it's around your lifestyle. It's around the values you have, the way you want to live your life, okay? The second category does not usually lead to burnout. The first category, for sure. I experienced burnout myself twice. And looking back at all the experience I accumulated throughout these past 20 plus years, I think 23 by now. Yes, I started in 2000. I came up with this acronym for the perfect business, what I consider the perfect business. And that's how the Oscar framework was born. So what would be an Oscar business? And obviously, Oscar for me means excellence. It would be an online business, a business that doesn't have any geographical limitations. I would be free to work from everywhere. Scalable. My business should offer me the possibility of unlimited units sold without a lot of additional efforts. And also it should be open to high automation. I can set up systems inside my business so it doesn't require my attention and is not dependent directly on my time. C, constant need and interest. The higher the need for my offer, the higher my profits, obviously. The greater my own interest in my business, the greater is long-term potential. Accessible, does not require an upfront financial investment or high maintenance costs. Rapid, I have rapid access. It's not difficult for me to reach my target audience, and it's not a very difficult or complex business from a tech perspective. So I came up with this acronym about 3 years ago. And then I was using those criteria to help people identify their best online business. But I only realized about a year ago that even my the methodology I was using could be called Oscar. So finally, I put it all together. And now my Oscar framework has 5 steps. The first one is an overview of the online business models. And some people wonder, why do I need to do that? I know for sure I want to do this and so on. Don't be so sure about yourself, okay? It helps a lot when we are humble. It helps a lot when we take a step back, especially when we choose our businesses. and especially if we don't have much experience as entrepreneurs. But even in my case, I made such, I would call them now stupid mistakes. I had a lot of experience. I was exposed, I had exposure to so many businesses, and still I chose two business models that were not Oscar at all. So why am I giving this introduction of online business models? Well, because I want you to be sure if you want to create an online course business, I don't want you to regret or think about when it becomes harder than what you anticipated, think that, oh, I should have started a Shopify store, or I should have done the print on demand model because it's so much easier and so on. No, I want you to be sure, which is why I have a short presentation of online business models. So I want you to know how people make money online these days. This is what makes a savvy entrepreneur, okay? Someone who understands things in terms of business models. So let me quickly show you. I give you an introduction into 7 models: Amazon FBA, private label, retail arbitrage, print on demand, drop shipping, digital courses, coaching, consulting, platform as a service, and software as a service, as well as blogging, and podcasting. And I give you a definition very quickly so you understand what they mean. If you don't know what a platform as a service means, it means to put in contact an offer with demand. For example, Uber, Lyft, Airbnb, those are examples of platform as a service. TaskRabbit, if you know about it. And software as a service, any app you create, like any app you're using right now, Spotify, Netflix, any money app you use to track your expenses and so on. And then I'm explaining the pros and cons for each model. So when you choose your business model, you will know that you made the right choice. You will understand what are the things that also the potential obstacles to expect, and what are the things you should take advantage of. Something that will help you become a savvy entrepreneur and know for sure why you choose what you choose. Okay, step 2 of my framework is selecting your desired lifestyle objectives. This is a step that many business coaches use, obviously, especially those that help you create a lifestyle-oriented business. But again, you can be superficial or you can go deeper with this step. The way I design my methodology is actually going rather deep here. Why? Because the whole business will be about supporting your lifestyle. And I'm not talking about you identifying just, your values or how you want to live or things like, for example, I want to travel or I would like to work only 5 to 10 hours per week. This is a step where I'm asking people to define very clear financial objectives. I'm using the freedom formula. You'll see what I mean in a few minutes. So that people know exactly what they aim to make with their businesses. Step number 3, I ask people to consider their business ideas, to come up with business ideas based on their interest and their expertise. Every business coach uses it, of course. Step number 4, and that's also unique to my methodology, is the Oscar matrix. I'm asking people to analyze all the business ideas they came up with through the previous steps with this matrix. The matrix is around these 5 criteria that I just mentioned, the Oscar business criteria. And step number 5, I'm asking people to review their business ideas based on market needs. The Ikigai Japanese model that takes into account what the market needs and what the market is ready to pay for. That's why I've added this model, because it introduces one more criteria. And then telling people how to define their ideal client and how to survey their ideal client using a Google form, and doing a small market research of their top 4 to 5 competitors. Okay, so let's see how it works. First, we already talked about the online business models. I showed you what I'm asking people to read. Once they know the pros and cons of each business model, they will understand which one they want, and they will also understand if they are ready to face the obstacles, the challenges of each of the model they choose. To make this quick, I'm going to take myself as an example. And you will see how I apply the Oscar framework on my own business ideas. My desired lifestyle objectives, for sure, I want to fulfill my spiritual objectives. I want to have time freedom to study different other topics that I'm interested in, to get involved in activities that have a lot of meaning for me. I want to have location freedom. I don't want to be linked to one specific country. I lived in 4 different other countries throughout my life, so I want to be flexible from this regard. Time freedom to learn things that I want to learn, to travel, to take care of my family, my health, and so on. I would like to also support some causes that I care about. And then I want to be able to make smart investments, okay? So generate enough income for my business so that I create a truly passive income. So what I'm asking my clients is do the same here. Define their lifestyle objectives, how they want to live their life, have a clear vision of that part, but also use what I call the time freedom, financial freedom formula. I introduced a link here in my framework. That works. It's a very simple way to calculate how much money you should generate with your business. If you want, I'm asking people to think about two amounts, a minimum amount they want to get per month and the amount they desire. Based on these amounts, it's very easy to calculate the annual expense. And then using a conservative return and an optimistic return, 4% and 8%, then it means that if they want $5,000 per month without working at all, they need, if they invest with a 4% return, they need to generate with their businesses 1,500,000, or if they want 10,000, they need to generate $3 million. With an optimistic return for $5,000 per month, they will only need to generate with their business and invest 750,000. Of course, if I change here 3,000, that would be even less. They would need to generate only $450,000. So this is how it works. If you have very clear financial objectives, the chances that you succeed with your business are a lot higher. All the studies show that. Also makes a lot of sense, because if you have a financial objective that is clear, you will know how to adjust your course, you will know how to track your progress. So after my clients go to this step 2, they have defined their financial objectives and their clear numbers, amounts they want to reach, as well as their lifestyle objectives. I'm asking them, now the step that everyone uses, as I was saying, to consider what they love. In my case, what you see here listed, those are the things that inspire me, that I would be interested to do long-term: video presenting, business, coaching, anything related to elderly and kids. I would like to help support on the ocean as well. Sport and nutrition, I've been passionate about this topic for a long time. Design and style, I'm talking about personal style. That seems to be inspiring for me as well. And this is the place where I'm also giving links to some of the best personality tests I know that are free, by the way. I think most of them, if not all of them, are free. And that can be done in a couple of days. Why have I added those tests? Well, because it seems not everyone is in touch with themselves lately. They've been stuck in the same job for such a long time that they really do not know what they like and what they want anymore. So you get an updated view of who you are, what you want, and what would be interesting for you to pursue long term. And then I'm asking people to list the causes, the things that they want to change in the world. People come up with unusual ideas at this step, and I like them to, to open their perspective, especially during this process, now that it's so important, the first step. I want them to think outside the box, and this is the step where they come up with interesting business ideas. And the last part of this exercise is thinking of business ideas that could come out of those areas of interest. In my case, for example, from video presenting, it would be blogging or starting a YouTube channel. From the business area, it would be management consulting or an online business course. From the coaching part, because I like to coach and motivate people, could be online business coaching, one-to-one. From the causes I care about, I could do a platform, and that's actually one of the businesses I created, the platform as a service that indirectly helps the elderly. Sport and nutrition, I could have a print-on-demand shop or a drop shipping online store that could be related to nutrition or to sport. And if, for example, I do nutrition, it would have to be private label, because I wouldn't, if it's nutrition, I'll be careful to create something under my own brand. Design and style, I could have an online store based on print on demand again. I could have an online course about personal style. I could do coaching. I could write a book. Now let's see how I analyze those business ideas based on one of the things that is unique to my framework, which is the Oscar matrix, based on the Oscar criteria that I just mentioned at the beginning of the video. I'm going to try to make this to zoom in so you can read the screen. Okay, what's the objective here? The objective is to identify those 1-2 business ideas that have the highest number of yeses, okay? Obviously, those should be the ones to pursue. Let's see, how would a YouTube channel stand, or blogging? How would that stand on those 5 criteria that I mentioned that make up for an Oscar business? Does it give me location freedom? Yes. Is it scalable? No, definitely not. I mean, it will depend on how many videos I can create, and all these videos will take time. Does it hold my interest? When I say constant interest, what I mean by that is basically you would be interested in this idea for at least the next 10 years. I think that's a great reference to keep in mind here. Is it seasonal? Well, it depends on the topic. I'll say it could be, but it's better if it's not, obviously. Is it rapid? Not really. Again, it takes some time to create videos. I like to do them, but it does take time. Is it easy from a technological perspective? Definitely. You can just do it with your iPhone and the ring light. You probably know by now that for YouTube, you don't need to have fancy equipment. You can create videos quite easily. Second idea, consulting management. Does it offer me location freedom? Not really. It would have to be like, I would have to work for clients that are located in the same city as I am to go and visit their companies, etc. Scalable? Definitely no, because it will again depend on me. It will directly depend on my time. I put a note here, all management consulting and one-to-one coaching services are not scalable since they depend on how much time you allocate them. Am I interested in doing it long term? I would say no, if I'm thinking about it. When I'm thinking about 10 years, I would say definitely not, because I've done this in the past. So is there a constant need for it? Yes, I would say yes. Financially accessible? Definitely yes. I also have easy access to former clients who can introduce me to others. So I would say yes. Is it rapid in terms of implementation? Yes. Is it easy and rapid from a tech perspective? Definitely yes. I mean, there's nothing so much. It's really not complicated to create just a very simple website and let people know how they can reach me. So 4 yeses, 3 no's. One more no compared to the first one. Online business coaching. Does it give me location freedom? Definitely. Is it scalable? Again, no. I just explained it depends on my time, how many people I can coach in 24 hours. Would I have a constant interest or a long-term interest in it? I would say no again, because I became a savvy entrepreneur, so I'm not interested in businesses that are not scalable and that do not give me time freedom. Is there a constant need for it? I would say yes. Rapid, yes, definitely easy. I mean, this is not difficult. Some people start just by sending private messages to people online, on Facebook, on social media. Like they just need a Calendly account to have their appointments booked. So nothing complicated from a tech perspective. How many yeses? 5. Okay, and 2 no's. Platform as a service, software as a service, creating an app to help either the causes I care about or for any other purpose. Location freedom, I would say no for a pass and yes for a SaaS. I said no here because, and I even put a note, services are offered by people who are location based. So I would need first to start in a city before I expand. For example, if I create, let's say, a platform as a service for people who want to use a bike. They don't have a bike, they want to borrow one. I'll have to put the offer in contact with the demand, but it would have to be local first, okay? So now the location freedom is limited. With my business, the one I told you I wanted to help the elderly indirectly, I had to recruit ambassadors first in my city, train them, make sure they are available and so on. And then once I set up the business in a city, then I could move on to the next city. It's low scalability at first, but profitability can be really high if the services are in high demand and the process of recruiting is simple and easy to repeat. And in my case, it was. So yes, my projections show that that could be a very profitable business. Am I interested in it? I would say long term, no, not for 10 years. I would like to set it up and then give it to someone else to manage. It's not something that I would like to manage every day. Is there a constant need? Definitely, especially if you choose right, your industry and the kind of services you offer. Financially accessible? Not really, because it's based on technology. Both are based on technology. Online store, drop shipping, and print on demand. Location freedom, yes. Scalable, yes, I would say quite high, especially if you find a reliable supplier. And the print on demand is very high because you just create a design and another company sends the product to your client. Constant interest, no. And this is what happened with my with my Shopify store. I got bored very easily. I wasn't motivated to pursue long term. So it was a mistake from this perspective. Even though I learned a few things and I made some money, it just wasn't the right business for me. It's seasonal. Well, it depends on the product. If you sell swimming suits, yes. If you sell other things that are related to seasons, definitely. And I would advise you not to if you choose this business model. Accessible from a financial perspective, definitely. First of all, you don't even pay for the products that your clients buy. Once you get paid by your client, dropshipping, this is the way it works. Using an app, you send the order to your supplier, AliExpress or other sites, similar sites, and they send the product directly. So they take care of all the transportation, logistics, and everything else. Is it rapid in terms of implementation? It is, but it's not rapid and it's not easy to get access to your target audience. Why? Because you'll have to advertise your store. You'll have to bring traffic to your store, and that costs money, and that may take time. And it's not that easy, by the way, especially if you haven't created a store into a very specific or unusual niche. Is it technologically simple? Yes, it's quite simple. You can learn this, like there are many tutorials online. So 4 yeses and 2 nos here. If only I had thought about these metrics, about this Oscar methodology before, I wouldn't have started my store. That business idea was not worth my time investment. Online store, private label. Does it give me location freedom? Yes. Is it scalable? Yes, but I would say medium. Private label, there are higher costs from production, maintenance, transportation. Is there a constant interest or for the next 10 years? No. I really think about it. That would be no. Doesn't matter the industry, the niche. Is it a seasonal business? Again, depends on the products. Financially accessible? I would say no. When I put a note here, if you private label a product, you will first need to find a reliable supplier. And by the way, that wouldn't be on a platform like AliExpress in China. It would be a platform called Alibaba or other similar. So I'll say no on both financial accessibility and rapid implementation. Is it technologically simple? Yeah, it's simple, same as the one before. So 3 yeses and 3 nos. Online course business. Does it give me location freedom? Yes. Scalable, definitely. I would only need to adjust from time to time to improve my course lessons or maybe add information depending on, depending on the topic, because there are topics that change a lot less than others. So you have to be careful here as well. But I would say it wouldn't require a lot from me to update a course, especially if I choose the right niche. Does it have my interest long term? Definitely, especially if I choose the right topic and the right niche. Is there a constant need for it? I would say yes, in my case, with my topics. Financially accessible, yes. Is it easy to implement? One of the easiest, I would say. If you read my business model comparison, you'll understand that. Is it easy to implement from a tech perspective? Definitely. Again, one of the easiest. So 7 yeses, yoo-hoo. Seems like I've got my winner. Again, as I said before, I wish I had done this for myself some time ago. Writing a book about personal style or healthy lifestyle. Would it give me location freedom? Yes. Is it scalable? Why am I saying medium? Because books are not so profitable, with the exception of the book becoming a bestseller and staying on the bestseller list, okay, for a longer time, which is hard to achieve. Would I be interested in it long term? I'll say yes, especially if I choose the topic right and I'm interested in those topics that I mentioned before. Is there a constant need? I'll say yes again, at least with the topics that I mentioned. Financially accessible? Compared to the other online business models, I would say no. Why? Well, writing a good book usually takes time, and time costs money, and sometimes it takes additional services. And for me, I would need proofreading. I'll have to ask people to help me write the final version. So it would be no for me. Easy access to my audience? No, because on the topics that I mentioned that I'm interested in, I would have to advertise my book. I'll have to bring traffic to my site. So let people know that I wrote the book. So I would say it's rather no here. Is it simple from a technological perspective? Definitely simple. So 4.5 yeses and 2 nos here. Finally, an online course about personal style. Location freedom, yes. Time freedom, yes, high. even higher than, by the way, in business. Why? Because some things are timeless in terms of personal style. The business course would require more updates than the personal style one. Do I see myself doing this for a long term? Yeah, I could. Is there a constant need? I would say yes for this topic. Is it financially accessible? Yes. Easy access to my target audience? No. And you know why I said no in my case? Because people don't know me for they don't know I have experience with this topic, and they don't even know, for example, I helped a few people change their wardrobe completely. They were very happy with my services, but I've done it for free. Anyway, most people do not know me as a personal stylist. Okay. Technologically simple? Yeah, I would say, technologically simple, yes, same as the other one. So 6 yeses and 1 no. As you can see, looking at my matrix, I have a clear winner, okay? So this is what I'm asking people to do. I ask people to analyze their business ideas based on these 5 criteria and come up with their top 2 winners, or maybe 1 winner. It's going to be very clear which idea will win if you think about all those criteria that I just mentioned. Step number 5, the Ikigai. It will help you go deeper in understanding if people are willing to pay for your idea. And you will also understand for which idea they will be ready to pay more. And that's the reason I introduced this last step. Plus, it's fun and you can do it again very quickly. So here it is how it works in my case, because I took myself as an example. First, let me introduce the Japanese model very quickly for those of you who don't know it, and then I'll explain how it applies to my ideas. So the Ikigai is the center of 4 areas that you should take into account when thinking about your choice. What you love, what you're good at, what you can be paid for, and what the world needs. If you only take into account 2 areas, what you love and what you're good at, you would get satisfaction, but a feeling of uselessness. Indeed, because it's not connected to what the world needs. If you only take into account what you're good at and what you can be paid for, you'll be very comfortable, but you may experience a feeling of emptiness. Why? Well, many people, are in this situation. They are stuck with their jobs, but they're not really happy, or even entrepreneurs, by the way. If you take into account what you can be paid for and what the world needs, you may experience complacency and satisfaction, but the sense of missing something. And if you take into account what you love and what the world needs, you may experience delight and a lot of satisfaction, but maybe not wealth. One thing I forgot to mention as step number 3, if you remember, we were talking about considering the business ideas based on what you love, on your interest and expertise. What I'm telling my clients here is that they should avoid falling into 2 specific categories. The first category of people, they don't take into account their interests, their skills, their values, their expertise. They think they've got an idea that is a killer idea, or they have some innovation, whatever. They have an opportunity that is unique, or they get sidetracked by a mentor who says, I made a lot of money with this model and you should do it too. And they start their business completely unrelated to all these areas. I think it's such a mistake. It's a mistake because many fail if they approach their business like that. But second, because even if they succeed with their businesses, they end up hating their life, if you want. I mean, I've seen entrepreneurs who were very successful, but they were very unhappy. So be careful not to fall into this category. And the second category, that's a little more subtle, group of people that rely so much on what they want, so much on what they like to do, on their hobbies, their skills, their passions, etc., that they don't want to take into account other criteria. So what happens with the second category? They end up hating their own hobbies. They end up disliking their passions and even abandoning their hobbies because they are not making money, and those activities stopped creating relaxation and happiness for them. So don't fall into those 2 categories. Okay, now let's see how the Ikigai applies in my case. You remember the topics that I chose. So what I love: business, video presenting, style, sport, nutrition, taking elderly care, kids, education, ocean cleaning. What I believe I'm good at based on my results so far: business, management consulting, business leadership, style, because as I said, I tried a few times. My friends were very happy, and also because people keep telling me this, that they like my style. I guess I could do it. Video presenting, which I also know I like. And again, I was told that I could do it well, although, if I look at myself, I think I have a lot to improve. But anyway, what I could be paid for, well, for sure, for all those areas, business, nutrition, style, services to the elderly, for sure, they are in high demand. So I could be paid for courses, for books, for coaching and consultancy. Now, what the world needs. What do I mean by that sign? It means superior. For example, when it comes to what the world needs, there is a higher demand for good nutrition, obviously, than for business advice, right? And there is a higher demand for business courses than for personal style courses, I would say. So with this step, you start understanding what business ideas would be more profitable than others. How does it apply to me? Well, my sweet spot, the common thing to all areas, as you can see, if you pay attention, is business. And the idea that has the highest number of yeses from step 4, if you remember, is the online business course. As you can see, doing all those steps in a thorough manner, I identified why I shouldn't go into creating a Shopify store, although I like creating designs for clothing. This process doesn't really let you fail. It helps you identify your best online business. I do hope that just going through this Oscar framework very quickly will help you not make the mistake of choosing your business, your online business superficially. Going a lot deeper, choosing your best online business so that you can be sure you set the tone for success.